You may be seated. Introduction of visitors. I recognize the member for Markham Thornhill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm delighted to introduce my friend and good businessman, Giuseppe Di Brato from Woodbridge. And he's the first time in the Queen's Park, and welcome to the Queen's Park. Thank you.
I recognize the member for Nickelbelt.
Merci, Madame.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My great friend Alain Bouchard came to Queen's Park. We went to university together. Welcome to Queen's Park, Alain.
Visitors, I recognize the Minister of Long-Term Care.
Thank you so much, Speaker. I'd like to introduce my good friend and the President of the Canadian Polish Congress, Dominic Rozak, as well as D. Tripp from the Ontario Association of Resident Councils. Welcome to Queen's Park.
I recognize the Associate Minister of Energy-Intensive Industries.
Speaker, we have two wonderful folks from Niagara who are here today. We have Lynn Guerrero, the CEO of Niagara Health System, and Harpreet Bassi from Niagara Health. Thank you both for being here today.
The member for Oakville, North Burlington.
I'd like to introduce some wonderful guests that are here from the Halton community. The Oakville Mayor, Rob Burton, and the CEO of Halton Healthcare, Melissa Farrell, along with the Director of Communications from the Halton Healthcare, Adrian Spafford.
Minister of Rural Affairs.
Officer for Bruce Power, James Scagnac.
The Minister of Labour.
Thank you, Speaker. I'd like to welcome a few people here. Victoria from Leuna. I'd like to welcome Nadia with ResCon, Stephanie with Ontario Sewer and Water Main Association, and I see Derek and Alejandra with Unite here. Welcome to Queen's Park. Thank you for being here.
I recognize the member for Whitby.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm pleased to welcome from the Charles H. Best Diabetes Centre, Laurie Hagan and Marlene Grass. Welcome to Queen's Park.
Introduction of visitors. Reports by committees. I beg to inform the House that today the clerk received the report on intended appointments dated November 6, 2025 of the Standing Committee on Government Agencies. Pursuant to Standing Order 110F9, the report is deemed to be adopted by the House. Reports by committees. Introduction of government bills. I recognize the Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that leave be given to introduce a bill entitled An Act to Implement Budget Measures and to enact and amend various statutes, and it now be read for the first time.
Mr. Bethlenfalvy has moved that leave be given to introduce a bill entitled An Act to Implement Budget Measures and to enact and amend various statutes, and that it now be read for the first time. Is it the pleasure of the House that the motion carry? Carried. Carried.
This is a bill entitled An Act to Implement Budget Measures and to enact and amend various statutes. First reading of the bill, première lecture du projet de loi.
Would the member like to briefly speak to the bill?
I notice the emphasis on briefly, Madam Speaker. I look forward to speaking to this bill during my ministerial statement.
Introduction of government bills. Introduction of bills. Statements by the Ministry. I recognize the Minister of Finance.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. Bill, thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you to everyone at Queen's Park here. It's an honour to stand before you for my 10th time to deliver a fall economic statement or a budget. You know, over the years, I've had the honour to introduce a number of budgets and fall economic statements, and as I'm sure you have noticed, over the years, I dedicate my speech to a loved one. I have often dedicated my speeches to my father or my mother, and sadly, my father passed away this past summer. His love of country, his role model as a father, his guidance will continue to shape who I am. Thank you. And may the work that all of us do in this Legislative Assembly help leave this world in a better place than we found it, and may future generations learn from the lessons from those who came before. So with that, Madam Speaker, au nom du Premier Ministre Doug Ford.
On behalf of Premier Doug Ford and our entire Government of Ontario, it is my honour today to present to you the 2025 Ontario Fall Economic Statement, a plan to protect Ontario.
Ford, Premier Doug Ford, and our entire Government of Ontario, it is my honour today to present to you the 2025 Ontario Fall Economic Statement, a plan to protect Ontario. Today, Madam Speaker, Ontario finds itself in a very different place than we did 7 years ago. In many ways, things are much better. Since we were first elected in 2018, this government and this Premier have turned our province's course towards one of success, one of growth, and one of prosperity. And in fact, we've seen our economy climb to new heights with a GDP of $1.2 trillion, over $350 billion higher than it was in 2018. Madam Speaker, we have provided confidence and certainty to markets, investors, and job creators at untold speed, adding close to 1 million more jobs in Ontario and mobilizing the greatest workforce that Canada has to offer.
Hear, hear.
So it's with sincere thanks that I say thank you, Premier, for your leadership. Madam Speaker, you show me a map of Ontario, and I will show you a place where the future is already taking place. This growth came not just from success alone, but from prudent investments. And I say prudent, Madam Speaker, because our government has worked hard to lay a strong fiscal foundation. In fact, Ontario closed the fiscal year with a deficit of $1.1 billion and a debt-to-GDP ratio of 36.2%, the lowest in over a decade. As importantly, we've also seen the cost of servicing Ontario's debt come down $1.3 billion lower than expected, and the cost of servicing that debt hit a 40-year low of 5.5%, freeing up room to reinvest in the priorities that drive long-term prosperity, like infrastructure, like tax relief, and our world-class skilled workforce. And for the first time in nearly 2 decades, Ontario received 2 credit rating upgrades, one from S&P and one from Morningstar DBRS. Madam Speaker, all 4 major rating agencies now affirmed Ontario's strong AA rating, a clear signal that investors and markets have confidence in this province's fiscal and economic direction. Now, with our finances in the best shape they've been in over a decade, we are in a strong position to act for Ontario. But we know the road ahead is not without challenges. As a province and as a country, we find ourselves in the midst of trade uncertainty that we did not ask to be part of, causing anxiety for workers and businesses alike. Mais, Madame le Président, ce qui nous distingue
Madam Speaker, we are different from other nations. We are Canadian. I have never met a Canadian that wasn't ready to put up a fight to defend themselves.
From other nations facing this challenge is that we are Canadian. And I've never met a Canadian that wasn't ready to put up a fight to defend themselves like this Premier. It was with that spirit that our government decided to act, and act quickly, to protect our businesses, to protect our workers and families, to protect our economy, and to protect our way of life. And thanks to the prudent fiscal management we've maintained over the years, we are in a strong position to act for Ontario. We have already announced nearly $30 billion in relief and supports for tariff-impacted businesses and workers to unleash our economy. And that money is flowing right now to keep our economic engine going. Flowing, for example, through our Ontario Together Trade Fund, which is currently leveraging $50 million in support for small and medium-sized businesses by enabling them to pivot production, build new sales relationships, and expand through greater interprovincial trade. And today, I am proud to share that to continue helping them diversify into new markets and boost their trade resiliency, our government is investing an additional $100 million into the fund for a grand total of $150 million. And, Madam Speaker, as we work together to build stronger communities, we must also work to build up the vital industries that sustain them. Our $5 billion Protecting Ontario account, which is providing up to $1 billion in liquidity to tariff-affected sectors like steel, aluminum, copper, and auto manufacturing, is helping them meet large operational challenges like payroll, lease, and utility payments. And as a matter of fact, just a few weeks ago, the federal government joined us in announcing an historic $500 million loan to support Algoma Steel and their workers to help. And this will help Algoma maintain operations, reduce reliance on the U.S., and support economic growth in Northern Ontario. We did so not only because we need to support Northern Ontario, but we need to ask ourselves, do we want to have a steel industry in this country?
Yes.
A manufacturing base and industry, including the North?
Yes.
An infrastructure industry that uses Ontario-produced steel?
Yes.
Madam Speaker, I boldly submit that the answer to those questions is an emphatic yes. As the leading economic engine of our great nation, Ontario must continue to stand out amongst the provinces and territories and lead by example. We have accomplished already much to free up trade within Canada, becoming the first province to lift all barriers under the Canada Free Trade Agreement, and empowering Ontario businesses impacted by tariffs to find new markets and find new supply chains within Canada. And we're doing this and more, Madam Speaker, because it is the sensible thing to do for our future, a future where Canada's #1 trading partner is Canada. A future where the single greatest place to invest, grow, and succeed in the entire G7 is right here in Ontario, supporting all of Canada. And our future is bright indeed, Madam Speaker. We must seize these changing times in order to deliver the projects that will reshape our standing in the global economy, not just for today, but for generations to come. And by working together, being bold, and having a vision, can we get on with building a nation? We've done it before, Madam Speaker. When former Premier John Robarts had a vision to build Canada's first nuclear plants right here in Ontario during the 1960s, almost 60 years ago, he forever changed our nation's energy landscape and our economic future. And now, Premier Ford has the vision for the next 60 years. The vision for generations to come, we will do it again. You know, because, Madam Speaker, Ontario has a proud legacy operating the safest and most reliable nuclear facilities in the world. But with energy demand set to rise so significantly over the next 25 years, now is the time to leverage Ontario's proven nuclear advantage so that we can create more good-paying jobs, grow our economy, and power our future. Recently, I was fortunate to join Premier Ford and Prime Minister Carney to announce an historic joint investment with the federal government of $3 billion to build the first small modular reactors anywhere in the G7, right here in Ontario, right in Darlington. And, Madam Speaker, that project alone will create 18,000 construction jobs and another 3,700 jobs to operate and generate enough energy to power the equivalent of 1.2 million homes. We're doing it all here in Ontario, Madam Speaker, and we're moving full steam ahead with refurbishment of Ontario's existing fleet of nuclear generating stations. And we're expanding new opportunities for large-scale nuclear energy at the Bruce Nuclear Plant, as well as the OPG, Ontario Power Generation's Wesleyville site in Port Hope. And you know, Madam Speaker, that will power almost 16 million homes. Wow. But we need the federal government to come to the table in support of large-scale nuclear in Ontario. I know Premier Ford has spoken to Prime Minister Carney about that, because that's what visionary leaders do. I spoke this morning and met with François-Philippe Champagne, who tabled his budget on Tuesday, to share that vision and get support, because the day will come that working together, we will continue to be a global energy superpower. And we're not stopping there. Last week, Premier Ford and Minister Rickford signed an historic agreement with Webequie First Nation that could see shovels in the ground on the road to Ring of Fire by next June. And this road will transform Indigenous and Northern communities, support economic reconciliation, and unlock critical minerals that could generate $22 billion to grow Ontario's economy and protect every worker in every part of the province. We're also speeding up the construction of projects that give us a critical advantage through a one project, one process system. Through streamlined approvals and environmental assessments. And just last week, Minister Lecce announced that Frontier Lithium's world-class PAK lithium project north of Red Lake would be the first to move forward under this framework, bringing us one step closer to unlocking the full potential of our metals and mining sector. What's more, our $500 million Critical Minerals Processing Fund will help us unleash Ontario's vast mineral reserves onto international markets. With Ontario minerals right here, mined in Ontario, refined in Ontario, by Ontario workers. Madam Speaker, this is what being a critical minerals powerhouse looks like. Madam Speaker, the future is at our doorstep. And when the future calls, Ontario answers that call. High-growth industries of tomorrow, like artificial intelligence, defence and advanced manufacturing, are all part of Ontario's future. All we need to do is reach for them. And through the remaining of our $4 billion Protecting Ontario account, we will leverage the private capital necessary to fortify our economy, drive innovation, and attract the best talent. Madam Speaker, this is what being a global AI and technology powerhouse looks like. And, Madam Speaker, we are standing on the shoulders of those who built this nation before us. And history remembers those accomplishments. And when history remembers the work that we've done here today together, future generations will look back and they will say, this is what nation building looks like. Because nation building is at the heart of Ontario's economic success, Madam Speaker, and protecting Ontario is at the heart of this government's plan. But at that heart of Ontario itself lie our communities, our families, our workers, our businesses, our students, our seniors, and everyone who calls this beautiful province home. We work for them, Madam Speaker. With tariffs making an already uncertain world even more challenging and unpredictable, our government set out to keep costs down and put more money back in Ontario's pockets. Madam Speaker, not only have we never raised a tax on the people and business of Ontario, we've in fact cut taxes and we've cut fees. And that's why I'm pleased to share that in this year alone, our government is enabling $11.5 billion in financial relief for people and families and $11.7 billion in cost savings for businesses, including $5.6 billion of which would go directly to helping small businesses. And we're going to keep going, keep finding more ways to lower taxes and fees and drive our economy. Just last week, I was with Minister Flack to announce an additional measure that Ontario is removing the full 8% provincial portion of the HST for first-time home buyers to keep the dream of home ownership alive for countless young families across the province. That's putting more money back in the pockets of Ontarians. It's just one part of our plan to build stronger communities. Our plan tackles health and well-being of people and families. People deserve the right care in the right place. And sometimes the right place is at home. Who doesn't want to age at home, Madam Speaker, comfortably and close to their family and loved ones? That's why I'm proud to say that our government, along with Mr. Jones, is investing an additional $1.1 billion over the next 3 years into home care, which will increase consistency in hours of care and reduce wastefulness. Thank you, Mr. Jones. So in conclusion, Madam Speaker, I would like to leave you with a message that I feel resonates strongly in our nation now. One which I hope serves as a reminder to all members of this legislature that no matter the cost, no matter the difficulty, no matter our differences, there's nothing worth fighting for more than our shared home, our shared way of life, and our shared communities. In fact, it was Prime Minister Brian Mulroney who once said, leaders must have vision, and they must find the courage to fight for policies that will give that vision life. Leaders must govern not for easy headlines in 10 days, but for a better Canada in 10 years. Thank you, Prime Minister Mulroney. Thank you, Minister Mulroney. Madam Speaker, let us place trust in one another to build a better Canada, not just for 10 years, but for generations to come. Let us never be kept from doing what it takes to do our job, protecting the more than 16 million people who call Ontario home. Let us keep working together. And in that spirit, Madam Speaker, I once again wish to renew the call I made to our colleagues from the NDP, from the Liberals, the Greens and the Independent members earlier this year when I introduced our historic 2025 budget, to set aside our differences and join us in support of this bill, regardless of political parties and stripes, in doing what is necessary to protect the workers, the families, the businesses and the communities and economy of Ontario. Let's work together, build out a vision for a strong, reliant and growing Canada, not just for the next 10 years, but for the next 100 years. Come and join us. Madam Speaker, this fall economic statement is more than an update on our government's plan. It's a reminder that in the face of enormous challenges, our nation must stay the course. These trying times demand we maintain a steady fiscal hand and work to restore balance. They demand that we protect our workers and businesses and national industries from uncertainty. They demand we build projects worthy of a nation whose economic strength is matched only by the strength of their people. They demand we welcome the world with open arms and say, come do business with us all. And most importantly, Madam Speaker, they demand we protect Ontario. Madam Speaker, now more than ever, we need to unleash our economy and make Ontario the most competitive place in the G7 to invest, create jobs, and do business. Thank you, and God bless the people of Ontario.
The member for University Rosedale.
Thank you, Speaker. Today we are debating the fall economic statement, and we have just listened to the